and also commend the committee, its chair, and all other members of the committee for the good work they have done. Mr. Speaker, I want to just touch on the issue to do with roads, whereby we have a lot of pending ongoing projects which were left, like Mau Mau. And Mr. Speaker, like now I cannot get home. Because of the works that were left undone, it has, due to heavy rains, there were landslides. I cannot access my home right now. But Mr. Speaker, I guess, and I wish to pray that the allocated 178 billion, much of the works will go to the pending works. But Mr. Speaker, as we recommend the committee for budget, we have a committee that is working very hard, but is going through a lot of hardships, a lot of attacks, and this is the committee that will fund this budget, the Finance Committee. Mr. Speaker, this budget of 3.9 trillion, 1.2 trillion is going to pay debts, that is consolidated funds, is going to pay the debts. 1.5 is going for recurrent, and around 700 is going for development. Then the equitable share of around 391. Mr. Speaker, as we look at the budget and the correction of revenue for last financial year, 2023-2024, we realized that we had targeted to correct around 2.7 billion, but we didn't manage to reach 2.7 billion. I think we are estimating to get around 2.4 billion. The funding of this budget, we are expecting to correct 2.9 billion, and yet we have not achieved the 2023-2024 target. Mr. Speaker, I think we must now come up as a parliament, as we recommend the revenue correction, and as we await the implementation of this budget. This budget will not actualize its implementation if we don't manage to correct revenue. And the issue of correction of revenue is tied with the finance bill. Mr. Speaker, we need to have a healthy debate as members of parliament. As we recommend and say how good the budget committee has done on allocation of these funds, we must also agree and sit as parliament together and agree on how we raise these funds. I pity the chair for finance. That guy is going through a lot. But this is a guy who is working day and night to see how we can be able to achieve this. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I wish to say the issue of not managing to actualize the budgets that we have already passed, or maybe we are about to pass, or the allocations that have been done, is mostly based because of the revenue correction and the targets that maybe we have put. Mr. Speaker, I want to say, today I listened to the former Prime Minister who is targeting the position of AU, whereby, Mr. Speaker, we are looking forward for him to get that position. I had a time because I was busy, but I passed by and I got his, in his stay when he was addressing the nation. He talked about making sure that this country manages to exploit its cash crop or exports to African countries. And he touched something that he talked about, having road networks that can be able to assist a tea farmer to be able to take his tea to Central Africa. Changing the route for ships, whereby because the ship mostly move from Mombasa, going to Middle East, then goes back, the route maybe, the route mostly doesn't go through South Africa. And our markets for tea are in West Africa and mostly are in North Africa. But for us to make our tea to get to West Africa, or our tea to get to North Africa, we have to use a ship which has to go through Middle East. It takes 3 months. But if we can have road networks, as he was putting it, we have a road network from through Mombasa, cutting across to Lagos. Like the issue we are talking about may be the issue of Lapset, whereby Ethiopia can be able to use our Lamu port. We have to look in a broader way on how we can be able to make this country make foreign income through its exports. Because our farmers, like tea farmers, most of them are losing hope. But this because the market that we are depending is the colonial market that is controlled by West, and we cannot be able to trade with our people because you cannot transport tea by freight. Like the other day, there was a round between Kenya and Lagos, but only a few maybe bags of tea that were taken by freight. But to be able to access that market, we need to have a road network. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, as Parliament, we must come up with the strategies on how this country will be able to achieve the targets of the revenues that we proclaim that we raise. If we can't, let's go by the facts. Because the 2.9 trillion that we are targeting, Mr. Speaker, chances we will not be able to raise. By not raising 2.9, most of these projects that we are looking forward maybe to achieve, we will not be able to achieve. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, KRA is still domiciled or using the colonial or the old way of collecting revenue. Mr. Speaker, the other day we developed the expressway. Expressway is very expensive driving in expressway, but because of ease of paying, you don't care how much you are paying. But KRA, if you import a container, you take 3 days to be cleared. But if there is the way of paying revenue, most people will be willing to pay. Therefore, I think we must also call upon KRA. They must make the issue of paying taxes very comfortable and very easy. But now, the way they are military, somehow everybody fears KRA. You don't want to be seen by KRA. That thing makes people to move maybe or the country to lose a lot on issues to do with the revenue collection. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we support the budget and we support the allocation, but we must go ahead, Mr. Speaker, to be part and party on the revenue collection that is through the finance bill that's coming next week. Let's not run away from it, because if we run away from the finance bill, Mr. Speaker, we will not be able to achieve all these things that are in this proposal. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity.